What's cracking with you people? Anansi here and welcome back to a new LP, Sudeki for the original Xbox and as of, I want to say 2012, Steam. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. This is going to be a long one, longer than what is usually done on the channel. So let's just press start. And we're going to do a new game. Let's go.
Whoa, what's it, Tal? What's the big hurry?
Sorry, Elko. Tilly, I'm late. I'm really late. My apologies, ma'am.
Ah, you clumsy ox. Watch your step.
Whoa.
Late again, Tal! I haven't the time to wait around for you. You're supposed to be a soldier. Now listen up, for I'm about to change your lives forever. I'm gonna make men of you if it's the last thing I do. Now, you might be asking yourself, why did you join the army? Well, I'll tell you.
So then, Yemi, what's on the agenda today?
Elko switches on his tower this afternoon, but you promised we could visit my mother today?
Ooh, lucky me. I get to spend all day in a village full of old men. You must have been very bored growing up.
I had a lovely time. Only boring people get bored.
Really? Well, I was hoping for something a little more exciting, that's all. Perhaps a troop inspection.
Wake up, soldier! Haven't you heard a single word I've said? Today is another beautiful day to learn the art of killing. The elite guard treats an enemy's death as an art form. You will learn to cut closer and thrust without mercy. What now?
General Arlo, may I have a quick word?
This had better be good. I don't need to remind you these soldiers are on active duty.
It's just a little VIP visit. Perhaps you could rustle up a display, please?
This isn't the circus, it's the army!
It is by Her Majesty's request, General Arlo.
Is it? Then I guess I'll have to make another exception. Who is she?
Her name is Buki. It's her tribe that hold the crystal I was telling you about.
Ah, Honorable Buki, we are in luck as it happens. The General here was just putting the elite guard through their paces. General?
Yes, Miss, Ibuki. Now, if you'll step this way, you can watch as we run over the basics of swordsmanship. Tal, you may begin.
Alright, let's put this art of killing to the test. Let's cut closer and thrust without mercy, as General Arlo says. I'm not going to go over too in-depth the combat mechanics right now since it's a tutorial, because there is a lot to actually discuss. Just know right now that, as you're probably noticing in the bottom left corner, this the swordsmanship, the action elements in this action RPG, because Sudeki is an action RPG. You don't just swing randomly. You actually want to do a kind of rhythm-based combo. Think of it like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, or Dead or Alive, or I guess Ninja Gaiden in that sense. Like the basic hack and slash, but even more dumbed down. And if you pull the right trigger, you can guard. And by adjusting the by clicking the analog stick in certain directions, you can do dodges. But we'll get more into that later. For now, let's go ahead and hit the back button since I'm actually playing this on the original Xbox, and let's just advance the story.
This is the art of swordsmanship. Remember, your sword is your best friend. As you can see, Miss Buki, if you love your sword, you can keep the whole world at arm's length.
You fight well, but a Shidani warrior does not hide behind a sword. I like to see the fear in their eyes and smell the sweat on their brow.
There is no substitute for a good sword in your hands.
Slow and cumbersome, like all men.
Good riddance. Now listen up, men. Intelligence suggests the Echlorians will darken our skies again soon. Now, we don't understand their motives, but it's down to us to try and stop them from entering Illumina. Echlorians employ guerrilla tactics and show no respect for the rules of engagement. They will use every dirty trick they can, and that includes the use of light-spawn creatures. These monsters take many forms, so you'd better be prepared for anything. The enemy attacks in small berserker groups, and the Queen has decreed we are to take no prisoners. Now, there's a lot of country to cover out there, so make sure you all have your own map to navigate with.
Illumina Castle, heart of the Bright Empire. The weaponsmith shop lies near the training yard. The owner is busy producing swords for the soldiers of Illumina so they can fight the invaders. You can find save points at safe havens like this inn. Kamo sells just about anything he can get his wings on. Beyond these gates lie the ravaged lands of Ascilia. So, first things first, before I get into how the rules of this Let's Play how I'm going to handle this Let's Play, let's go ahead and talk to this soldier right here.
Tao, you better get yourself a map of the wilderness before you go on duty. And go to Kamo's shop in the northeast corner of the marketplace and pick one up. Maps are free to soldiers by order of the Queen.
Now, if you've played this game before, you can go ahead and say, thanks, I can find my way there. But in case you haven't played this game before or you're new to it, you can also use, or I guess in some cases, if you haven't played a game in a long time, you can just go, can you show me?
Sure. It's in the northeast corner of the courtyard. Follow me and I'll show you.
And we can follow the soldier on the way over. Now, how I'm going to be handling this Let's Play is I'm going to be cutting out a lot of load times, a lot of load screens, because many of them spoil things that will happen later in the game, and I don't want to spoil too much. Number two, any stuttering you see is a result of the Xbox loading transitions and new dialogue. It's worth knowing that at the time when the original Xbox first came out, it was the most powerful console on the market. Considering the fact that mine's well over 20 years old, expect some of that power to have been lost over the years. Hopefully, I can fix that or try to keep it less noticeable throughout the Let's Play, but I make no promises. Worst comes to worst, then might drop like 1 or 2 words. Hopefully that won't happen too often. Anyway, we're here at Kamos.
Here we are. Maps to free the soldiers by order of the Queen.
Well, that's good to know. Thanks, government! Now, one other thing to note is that, even though I said that, there are some moments in the game that I do remember distinctly when I was younger. They would stutter here and there. Like General Arlo's speech after Buki leaves, you might have noticed some stuttering between there. A lot of that was in the original game. And before we go into Kamos to get our map, let's go ahead and just do some general exploring around. By starting off with our first interactable, these chests. And get our first taste of currency for this world, florins. 100 of them to be precise. And over here we have a pot. Let's pull our inner Zelda and break it. Alright, Sapphire, Panacea, cures the slow stats effect. So here's how it's going to work. In Sudeki you have... Well, let's go ahead and talk to these kids first and then get on to that. Hey kid, come back here, I need to talk to you.
Spare anything for a bunch of orphans? Well, the gods help those that help themselves. Quick, leg it, boys!
The little urchins have pinned some of your cash. Best find them to teach them a lesson. Now, as we do that, I want to show you that you can interact with a couple of things in the world. You have boxes, crates, and pots. The boxes, crates, and pots will have random things inside of them, even including nothing, where chests are always set. Now, this quest, when you go to talk to these kids, they actually appear in random spots on each playthrough. So don't expect this guide this playthrough to match up to yours should you play it.
Have it all back, you stink rider.
Well, that's a very interesting insult there. Like, for instance, this kid, I have actually found him on the other side, on the complete opposite side of the courtyard. So you're not always going to find him in the same spots. Let's see what's over here. Another chest, just hiding out in the open. It pays to explore the world of Illumina, because you're going to find a lot of goodies and a lot of trinkets that are going to help you out, as well as talking to as many NPCs as you can, because, well, for one thing, every single NPC is voiced, like every single one. Not all of them are going to give you quests. As a matter of fact, I think it's a very small percentage. Like, for instance, right now, the quest we're doing right now, I think is the only side quest you can do at the moment in the main hub. Well, main hub, there's no real main hub, but inside this area. You try to go back here, locked. So we can only really advance the plot. Now this kid, I've actually had him in other places too. So that's what I mean by you're not going to find him in the same spot every time.
Eh, forget about it. Have your stinking cash back.
So more of our money back. And here's the last kid.
You got me. I thought I was so good at hiding, too. Hey, I found a key to a hiding place where no one ever goes. You can have the key, but don't tell anyone you got it from me. You can't miss it. The door is covered in red paint.
It's a red door key. We'll have to keep that in mind for later. But, yeah, that's another thing. Another thing about that is that, depending on which kid you find last, they have something different to say about the key they found. So there's another sense of the game being a little bit more dynamic. This game is actually pretty detailed for its time, but it didn't do well, so it's considered a cult classic nowadays. Which is a shame, because it's a really good game, and I do encourage you to pick it up should you get the chance. Now we're at Kamo's Emporium, and Kamo is a giant green duck.
Welcome to Kamos. No kids, no smoking, no drinking, no touching, and no credit! Now, how may I help you?
Geez, you sound like a millennial, I know. I've come to collect a map.
It's cheapskates like you that make me work longer hours.
See the wilderness map and your quest has been updated. I'd like to shop. Now, here's the thing about Kamo. Kamo is your general goods character. You will come here to buy your general health potions, your skill point potions, your effect modification items, and your revives, as well as weapons. I'm not going to go through all these weapons because a lot of them are spoilers, but just know, here's one of Tal's weapons. Strength 25, critical chance 15%. So there you go. You're going to find weapons all over the place. I'm going to try to get every single weapon in the game. We're going to go for 100% completion. And just generally have a good time from there. I make no promises on it, but because I only ever 100% this game once in the 16 years I've owned it. So let's go to the door.
Hey, Tal, the alarm bells are ringing. There are reports of skirmishes on the road to New Brightwater. Arlo wants you to lead a patrol across country in case Princess Ailish gets caught up in the action.
Well, we have our first main quest. I guess we better get to it. Oh yeah. So if you look at the mini-map up there, I guess I'll go ahead and put the icons out. Anything green is a interactable NPC that will either talk to you to give you flavor text, or to make you, or to make you or to give you a quest. We also have shops, like the vendor, and I think you have purple ones too. But we'll get to them where we can. Outlined on it is a circle, and that circle has a white arrow on it. The white arrow will point in the direction that you generally need to go, but it's not 100% reliable, so try to keep an eye on the map. But before we go any further, I want to point this guy out. This character here.
For a derisory fee, I can unravel the mysteries of the universe through the medium of puppetry. It may sound far-fetched, but don't underestimate the magic of theater.
Now, you can take him up on his offer and go, I'll take a chance, pay for it, 10 florins. I'll take a chance to pay for it, 10 florins. Or you can say goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye because all Balor does is, if you remember the pilot episode I uploaded before this, he just plays the puppetry again. Yeah, that puppet show you saw, that intro cinematic, which is by far one of the best intro cinematics I've ever seen to a game, barring Halo and a couple of Star Wars games. He plays that for you again, so you can always, so you can come, so you want to come back and watch that intro without booting the game up again. Come back and talk to him. It's superfluous, but it's nice. Kind of adds a little bit of background element to the world. Let's go stop by. Now we're going to go ahead and raid Tal's room for his life savings.
All right.
100 florins. And if you go over here, our battle manual. Now, fun fact about this: I have played this game countless times. It wasn't until my recent playthrough about 2 months ago where I found this thing. I didn't even know what it was. We'll go over it in detail later, but just know that it's there if you need it. Now let's check this. Spare armor segments. A soldier won't live long without them. I'll give you that. So why is your right arm pretty much exposed? Now go over here. The room is very messy. Tal always was a daydreamer. Tal, why are you referring yourself in the third person? Over here. Okay, so that just kind of spans that one. If you go up here, there's a portrait of Tal with his mother and brother. It is very dear to him. Tal, once again, why are you speaking in third person? At any rate, I want you to keep this portrait in mind. We're going to come back to it much later because there's something about this portrait that I really do need to point out. Let's go down here and get back into the main courtyard and continue on with our quest. We have one more side job to do before we go any further, and it's on the way. But here you go. Also, you bottom left corner there, you see a little duck icon, a little duck face icon. No, not that kind of duck face. Get your mind out the gutter. Whenever you see one of those, that will point you to the nearest camo shop. So keep that in mind. Yes, I said Kamo. We'll get to that in a second.
A professor from Transentia invented the crossbow, one of the war's deadliest weapons. But now, Elko has invented a magical version that fires bolts of energy stored in a crystal. I can't wait until they become standard issue.
Interesting. And yes, what he is holding is the crossbow. Looks like a pickaxe, but it's a crossbow. So we hit this button here. Well, actually, wait, before we do that, I meant to show this off. I completely skipped ahead a step. It's superfluous, but might as well go and show it off. If you go down here, you see this lock, you see this door right here. This door is mechanical, but its opening mechanism isn't in sight. That's because whoever thought this up, I'm going to presume Elko, or any scientist from Transcentia, hit this button here. This is the unlocking mechanism to the door. And in it reveals a green eagle chest. Now, the green eagle chests are the chests you want to look out for. They have very special items in them that you can hardly find anywhere else. This one, for instance, has a wolf totem. Those are going to become important later, much later. And we'll get to it as we can. Now, on our way out of Illumina Castle, I want to talk about the very blatant elephant in the room. That, well, this is the control. This is about your camera control. You can use the right trigger to center the camera behind your character, and the left trigger puts you in a first-person view. You can also use it to, to do your basic movements. And here are your save points. I'm going to be using this in between recording sessions because with this being on the original Xbox, there is no differentiating in differentiating in profiles. It's all one shared system. And I've played this game a couple of times, and a lot of my save files have spoilers on them. So yeah, I will be saving, just not in the main menu for very often, or at least until I can get to a point where there's not going to be a lot of spoilers. Anyway, we got a little bit of lucky there. None of those have anything in them. But yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That this game has a very clear steampunk aesthetic with a very heavy Asian influence, but every single character speaks in an English or European accent. That's because this game was developed by Climax, and Climax is, for all intents and purposes, I like how this guy's urging to follow, but it's going to ignore him and go this way. I don't believe any of these soldiers have any quests. I think it's all just flavor text. Does this guy have anything special to say?
General Arlo and the others have already gone. Follow this tunnel down into the wilds and you should catch them.
Yeah, so I don't think any of these characters have anything of note. I will be pointing out when we can get stuff, and that's about it. We'll get quests. Really should not record these in the morning because my speech is just not where it needs to be. But yeah, Climax Studios is a British-based developer, and they developed the game. Anyway, we're going to get more into that next time. Sorry that this part was so slow, but had to get a lot of general user information out of there. But next part, we're going to pick right up. I've been Anansi, and I will catch you later.